What up, guys? This is Chris Johnson, and this is our first episode of Through the Lens. I'm your host, and our co host, which we're going to call her the secret co host, which will be better known as The Voice. She's on our show. So let's go get it.
So let's talk about 1 day contracts.
One day contracts are huge.
What does it mean?
So, a couple of years ago, I was thinking about how to put yourself in a position to win. And I noticed when people sign contracts, they hold themselves accountable to what's written in the contract. So I was like, let me get my athletes to decide to sign these contracts. And then I took it from like just a whole off-season contract to being a one-day contract. So a one-day contract is set up and designed for you and I for accountability. A lot of times we put things off to the next day.
Yeah.
So under contract, we will sign what we need to complete and be on the mission for that day. And if we complete the task within that contract for that day, we'll take the next day and add it to the contract.
Hmm.
So what you're doing is you only are focusing on the right now, the moment, today, no other day, and you're fighting for it.
And to develop this, how do people make the habit though? Because you're talking about contract extensions basically when you're talking about adding in the next day.
Yes.
So how can somebody make a habit of like, or even drafting the contract? Let's start there.
Right.
I need to draft my contract for today. What do you say are the first steps to draft my contract?
First step, your name. Second step, today's date. The third step is to put a checklist or a things to do list to complete for that day. So the accountability is whatever you put on that one day contract for yourself. This is between you and you that you execute and you go start to finish with what's on that contract.
And what happens if I don't complete it? I signed
So
this contract, didn't finish.
So if you maximize your complete day and you were not able to complete your one day contract, the next day when you're going in to sign that one day contract for that day, that rolls over to the very first thing to do that day. The one thing that I've learned is that most people can complete a week's worth of work in a matter of no time if they're organized.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are procrastinators. They procrastinate and they'll say, "Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll do it on Wednesday." But if you really put it on the contract and you say, "Hey, I got to get this done today. I don't care what's going on. This is what I have to do." You'll be very surprised that you'll be able to complete it.
You just posted two different things on your page about Just Win. You said trying to be a perfectionist is just an excuse to procrastinate.
Ooh.
It was around those like words.
Yeah, no, 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 no,
Basically,
you're
it's
right.
like if you're chasing perfectionism, you're just procrastinating at the end of the
Absolutely.
day.
Yeah.
So let's talk a contract for a procrastinator. Sorry, for a perfectionist who keeps procrastinating because it's, well, I want it to be perfect.
Right.
So we're talking breaking a big project down into smaller, tangible.
Yeah. Small wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people that are trying to be perfect in every phase of their life really kind of stagnate the progression and moving forward. What I look at is starting, finishing, and going back and correcting. So what it allows for you to do is it allows for you to complete the task, and then you can go back and review the task.
Yeah.
Versus every step trying to be so detailed and so focused that you never complete it.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of people with a lot of things on their plate. They never finish anything
Yep.
because they're so focused. They're so focused on this has to sound right. This needs to look right.
Yeah.
I need to have this to be able to do it. I need to wear this hat. I need to have this lipstick. Everything is like not lining up, so I never can do it. And if people that are watching today, when you're looking at your life, if you're this person that's trying to be perfect, know one thing: there's no perfect person.
Mm-hmm.
No one. Not even if the situation looks perfect, you may not even designed it that way.
Yeah.
It just happens. People say, "Wow, how did they do that?" By accident.
Yeah.
I was working through it, and I came up with this, and this is how I got to the logo.
Yeah.
I realized that no matter how we think things are supposed to look, we never complete those things looking at a way. It always shapes out to be different.
Yeah, that's true. You can't plan something because, I mean, God's plan at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It always happens.
Well, you got to pivot. Things
Yeah.
change.
Because you're
And
dealing with people. Everybody has something come up.
it's
Anything.
quick. Like today, even us, we
Yep.
here. Like I was at Snapchat, we grinding, we working. You were doing some podcast stuff for somebody else. You
Yep.
had to pivot. Like, oh, I have this, I have that. Oh, don't worry, we're gonna make it happen.
Yep.
And that's where we are today. Most people cannot pivot, and when you're trying to be perfect, pivoting becomes very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a part of it. And that puts you in that procrastination like phase of things. Because procrastination is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, people will put it off until like even say for instance, middle school kids.
Mm-hmm.
They have a homework assignment. It's due not this week, but next week.
Yeah.
They have 7 days to do it. They get the assignment on Monday. It's due next Monday. So most people will wait until Sunday night, back against the wall, anxiety, they're feeling rushed. Now they have all this emotion because they want to complete the task for tomorrow. Now when you have anxiety and you're feeling like, like now you can be rude to people.
Mm-hmm.
Your train of thought. Now you don't even want to do it at all.
Yeah.
You're like, I ain't even gonna do it. I just don't feel like doing it. And so procrastination really puts us in a dark hole.
Mm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's you versus you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could put you in a dark, dark hole. I was a procrastinator, so I know.
And so you said something that was really, really key because this is all coming back down to self-accountability. It's one, being honest with yourself. I am a procrastinator.
Yep.
Like, you have to admit it. You can't just be like, oh, well, no, I'm a perfectionist. Like, no, you're a procrastinator too, because I am, just as a creative.
I love that.
And
I
then
love
you
that,
taught
though,
me,
Karina, hold on.
do it and fix it.
But that's good because you need to have that talk with yourself. I had that talk with myself, and when I have that talk, I'm like, hey, listen, no procrastination.
Yeah.
Get it done. It don't have to be perfect.
Yep.
It don't have to line up. It don't have to be written perfect. Get it down, get it done, and get started.
Yeah.
And once you start it, you finish it. Then you can correct it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
That's
good.
You definitely set that up as the culture here and working on the team of just like, let's just get it done, let's get it out. And it combated every human nature I had in me. I was like, what do you mean? It is not perfect. We don't have this. And you were like, no, let's just do it. And then now I've seen you like go back and be like, let's update thumbnails. And it's like, dang, that's been up for a minute. And there's no stress about it because it's like, it's okay. We can go back and fix it.
We can go back and correct it, even
Yep.
for like, young athletes that are trying to become like a professional athlete. You're practicing something not to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You're practicing to develop the routine that will allow you to be able to perform at a peak performance.
Yeah.
There's no perfection. You watch the greatest people in their craft, and you'll see them make mistake after mistake after mistake. That's not the most important part. The most important part is how they respond
Yeah.
to those mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's what signing that one-day contract is all about.
Yeah.
When you look at yourself in the mirror, and I look at myself in the mirror, and I sign this one-day contract, I'm signing a one-day contract with only me.
Yep.
I'm the most important person to me. And if I can hold myself accountable to going start to finish on a daily basis, then I can become a leader and hold other people accountable. But if I cannot be held accountable, there's no way I can lead a group or an individual to be successful because I can't hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
You got to look yourself in the mirror.
You can't hold somebody else accountable if you've never done it with yourself.
Absolutely.
So I took away my 1 day contract is going to say I don't have to be perfect. I just have to start. And
Ooh,
I
I
think
like
that's
that.
important
Get
for
started.
people get that
Start.
affirmation on
Yes.
top of their contract. Because I think, let's talk contracts with players. It's like, what is your position? What are you delivering?
Yes.
Who are you and what are we delivering? Because it's a 2-way contract. So it's
Absolutely.
you versus you, like you said. So it's like, well, there's a reward system in a way. Obviously, putting out the work and getting paid and being able to get more clientele is a reward.
Absolutely.
But what would you suggest for anybody that likes small rewards? Like they want to go buy something or they want to go treat themselves. Do you think that'll help them or
I
make it
think,
worse?
I mean, it's so many different variations to a reward or small wins. Small win could be like, say, for instance, on my 1 day contract, I have hot yoga.
Yep.
Let's say I'm not in a negotiation. When I complete it, I can celebrate it by grabbing a coffee
Yeah.
on my way back to the office or to the studio, to go to the next task. So you can celebrate wins and it don't have to be public. A lot of times when we look at social media, we look and compare other people's wins to our wins.
Yeah.
My wins are very small. My wins is like completion of yoga, that I communicate with my whole team today, that I get out those 75 emails that
Yeah.
I'm supposed to, that I respond back to 200 text messages. Dude, when I look at my phone, does it say 0
Yeah.
in the people that I have to respond to? Did I pay my staff? Did I get on the Zoom? I have a meeting. So every time you hit that, that's a win.
Yeah.
And win to me is what is important now.
And so what about, you said the keyword non-negotiable. Yoga, hot yoga. I just started where that's my non-negotiable every single day. There are way too many classes available at that studio that you can't show up to one of them. At least one of them, even the easiest one. If for that day I just don't feel like doing the harder class, what would you say? Do you think it's important to have the non-negotiables that move on to each contract every single day, every single day?
Absolutely. Negotiation equals procrastination. Negotiation equals procrastination. So when you can non-negotiate with yourself, just the simple things like working out. I don't feel like it today, but it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Every day is not going to be a great day.
Yep.
Every day is not going to be aligned to where you have the energy. You have to get there and show up, and then the feeling of completion after you finish it is amazing.
Unmatched.
You're like, I did it.
Yeah.
And what you start to do with that practice of doing it every day, now I call this habit stacking. You start to stack good habits, repetition, and routine. So now doing it is a lot easier. It's a lot more like you feel like you can do it every day. And now you can show up for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where the wins are. You're like, holy, I've been stacking days. I did 10 days straight. Your confidence go up. The anxiety go down. And now you don't feel like it's tug of war to get yourself from this place to the next place.
Yeah.
But if you don't and you like miss a day, you're like, I knew I should have did this. Why didn't I do it? Why? What was so important that in a 24-hour period, I didn't make 1 hour for myself?
Yep.
That's the same thing when it comes to work, family, children, meetings. You have to prioritize it.
Yeah.
I have a great story. Like, I have a friend. She owns a bunch of restaurants. She's like a marketing like guru. Like, it's crazy, right? And she was telling me her schedule was she has a meeting every Monday with a group of like highly successful entrepreneurs that, once you're in the group, like you can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
But I was coaching her on showing up for herself.
Hmm.
But she was telling me in return, if I miss this class or this group session, you get kicked out if you miss multiples. So I was like, okay, so you're telling me you are holding yourself accountable
Yeah.
to being at these meetings every Monday, once a month, and you're not holding yourself accountable to fitness.
Yeah.
So she has a capability of doing it.
It's just she chooses which one.
It comes down to the choice.
Yeah. So every day is a choice
Every day is
to
a choice.
make that contract and sign it with yourself.
It's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll win. So, guys, this has been phenomenal opportunity to share with you about my view and the voice. Let me do it again. I'll do it again. So, I'm super excited that you guys got an opportunity to see our first episode of Through the Lens. You get to see my perspective of the one-day contract, which is non-negotiable. You get to hear the voice behind the lens. And this is why we call this Through the Lens. Make sure you turn on your post notifications, drop your comments, make sure subscribe, like, go to our Snapchats, Instagrams, and TikToks to see other content that we'll be posting through the lens. Peace.